Yep, ATP, what it do? It's your boy Clay Morrell back at you guys with another one. As usual, salute to all my subscribers. Thank you for all the support on the channel. We are growing. We're growing, actually growing pretty well right now. And always welcoming you guys, if this is your first time seeing the content, to go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit your bell icons as well, so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So look, David Benavides does interview campaign, right? He seems like he's on a little bit of a media campaign, doing interviews with Mill City, Sean Zartel, Fight Hub, Fight Hype, on random different platforms, speaking basically towards this fight and selling this fight that he's about to be in on February 1st with David Morrell. Now, guys, you guys know, big anticipated fight, right? Didn't even see this fight coming, as the boxing space has been screaming and begging for the best to fight the best, begging these promoters and begging these fighters to issue these challenges and follow these challenges up with actual offers that obviously manifest into fights like this. And here we are. We finally got two great guys, great talents in their prime, fighting each other, and you couldn't be more excited if you're a real boxing fan. But you guys saw about a week or so ago, Dave Benavides and David Morrell did have a media workout and a little bit of a face-off, and it did go left, right? David Benavides not very happy, didn't feel respected when he tried to reach out to shake David Morrell's hand in the face-off, and ultimately we saw the pushing turn out, as well as David Morrell throwing his belt, almost catching David Benavides, right? Could you imagine if you'd have caught David Benavides with that, injuring him? I mean, that literally could have put the fight in jeopardy. But look, when things get heated, anything can happen, right? Anything goes. It's up to the security in the building to make sure that everybody stays peace and everybody stays safe. Well, David Benavides now on a campaign, as I was saying earlier, doing different interviews and speaks specifically on strategy and how he's approaching this fight with David Morrell. Now, you couldn't help but notice that David Benavides did all of a sudden have a new fire under him, right? And you would think he would, naturally, after getting into a somewhat of a physical confrontation, as well as a crazy war of words. Keep in mind, David Morrell, English is not his first language, so it was a lot of Spanish. The actual translators looked like they were having a hard time keeping up with that, so we didn't get to really hear everything that was happening, but for the most part, what the translators were able to capture, as well as what David Benavides was also able to translate, what you understood is that David Morrell didn't feel respected, right? He didn't feel like David Benavides was taking him seriously or respected him for the actual opponent that was in front of him, and so he drew a line in the sand. And when it came time for that handshake to happen, he drew the line in the sand and told David Benavides, that's not what this is about. We're fighting. Ain't no friend talk. You did all that talking that week before. Now this week we're on the same page, right? But David Benavides clearly wasn't. In shock a little bit based on their last interaction ending in handshakes. Seemed like mutual respect, not that they like each other per se, or that they're ready to go hang out, but it seemed like there was a mutual respect amongst pugilists, and this particular confrontation or face-off didn't bring the same energy. So it turned into what it was turning into, and now David Benavides speaking towards this fight, not changing his tune so much, but is definitely, you can see, way more adamant about stopping David Morrell and saying, listen, man, this guy's going to get a chance to prove to the world who he is, because I'm going to press him the whole fight. I'm walking him down. I'm putting the pressure on him, different punch combinations. I'm going to put that volume on him, and we're going to see what he does. Now, after watching that press conference, you'd have to ask yourself, who did this press conference benefit for the most part? And the one guy who's in the ring who doesn't have the experience, and I have to go ahead and agree with David Benavides on this, that David Morrell's pro career does not match to David Benavidez's pro career, right? He's had less fights. He hasn't fought the level of competition that David Benavides has fought. But we also can ask ourselves, has David Benavides fought a David Morrell before? I don't know who I would compare to David Morrell in David Benavidez's resume. Now, he's fought great fighters: Caleb Plant, Darrell Miller, what's my guy's name? Andre Bubu, right? Dimitri Bubu Andrade. Sorry about that. He's fought some good fights, right? And obviously we all know that he was lined up to fight Canelo Alvarez, and Canelo Alvarez obviously saw something enough in David Benavides to say, listen, it's going to take an absurd amount of money for me to get in the ring with this guy. All he brings to me the night of the fight is 25 pounds. But at the same time, has he fought a David Morrell? David Morrell being a very powerful puncher, high knockout ratio, very, very well-decorated amateur career. This guy has his own attributes and accolades that he brings to the ring that may cause David Benavidez issues stylistically in the ring. We have to see how that's going to turn out. Now, the idea that David Benavidez would walk down David Morrell is an exciting idea in the mind of a true boxing fan who understands what that means, because for all intents and purposes, we don't see David Morrell. I don't see David Morrell necessarily taking a step back. Now, it would lead me to believe that whoever does get the fighter to go backwards, whoever is able to force him to fight off their back foot, well, you would lean towards that person to be able to walk away and edge out the win, maybe even stop the other opponent. But seeing where David Benavidez's mind is at, doesn't seem like he's going to get swayed or moved off of his point, that he believes he is who he is. And this is just going to be another opportunity to show the boxing fan base that David Benavidez is a generational talent. It's his time. It's his era. He plans on shaking up the light heavyweight division, as he is in line to challenge a winner between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, pending the results of this fight, obviously, right? Holding that interim WBC title. But David Morrell has his own aspirations as well, right? He also may be in line to get an opportunity to become an undisputed champion in that division if he's able to go ahead and get past David Benavidez. So does this work out for David Benavidez? Him coming forward, you would think that David Morrell's, if he had a wish in the world, it would be that David Benavidez would press him. Because now he doesn't have to find David Benavidez. He's right there in front of him, and he can commence to taking his head off the angle. He's a southpaw, getting that position to get that foot outside, his right foot outside of the left foot of David Benavidez, and able to keep him on line for those left hands. David Morrell is great with the combinations, going and level changing, hitting to the body, going back up to the head, giving different looks. What is David Benavidez going to do in those situations? Because ultimately, he does seem like he's putting himself in a position where his ability to absorb punishment or absorb shots are going to make the difference as to his ability to sustain an offensive attack on an offensive fighter like David Morrell. Now, you're coming forward. When you're punching, you're leaving room to get punched. And we know that David Benavidez brings volume punching to the game. Now, he's always had the power to be able to translate that volume punches into stopping opponents like the Caleb Plants. Well, even though he didn't stop Caleb Plant, right? But he almost did, right? He had him really hurt. But if you really watch him throughout his career, he's always been able to capitalize off of his size, his length of his arms, his height, his volume punching, which aligns right with his conditioning, right? Well, in his last fight against Gvozdyk, you saw that he was letting his hands go, but the power didn't seem to translate so much, right? Gvozdyk was able to absorb a lot of punishment and ultimately able to take that fight into a decision. Now, David Morrell, even though he is coming up from 168, just like David Benavidez to 175, he always has had a big frame for that division, right? Some people would even say that he probably is translating better into the 175-pound division than David Benavidez is. Now, David Benavidez letting the space also know that he had injuries and other ailments and obstacles that were in front of him that pretty much didn't give the fan base an opportunity to see a real 100% version of him health-wise in a person who was able to spar like he wanted to, lift weights like he wanted to, really get strong for that division. We didn't get to see that because David Benavidez was nursing wounds, nursing ailments, injuries that he had occurred, that he had gathered inside of the training camp. So that is what he's attributing the performance against Gvozdyk to. And for all intents purposes, David Morrell as well did not have such a great performance against Hot Rod. Hot Rod was able to box him, move around, not stand there in front of him, force David Morrell to find a way to cut the ring off. I mean, ultimately, he was able to walk away with a decision and get himself a WBA title in that division. But a lot of people felt like lackluster performance, to say the least. But there is a difference in this fight, and styles do make fights. David Benavidez is not going to be moving around the ring like Hot Rod did, right? He's going to be walking him down. He's going to be trying to catch him before David Morrell catches him, punching straight punches probably, working, level changing. And David Benavidez has been criticized for being somewhat robotic in the ring, defensively, leaving himself open to taking certain shots. But always being able to overwhelm the opponent in front of him with his volume of punching, and like I said, also with the power that aligns with that to make that a crazy combination of obstacle to deal with when you're in the ring with him. But if David Morrell's able to hurt David Benavidez, which I'm assuming that's what his goal would be to hurt him, throw him off his game, get him to go on his back foot, get him to overcommit, walk into something nasty, does David Morrell have the punching power to stop David Benavidez? I'll tell you personally, of course I think he does. He's a powerful punching machine. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this fight. If you guys weren't interested in the fight before, you got to be interested now that there's some blood and sweat in the game. There's animosity there. There's anger. There's respect on the line. There's an opportunity to become an undisputed champion on the line, and both these fighters are coming in with that energy, right? Now more than ever, with the disrespect and the melee that they got into, David Benavidez is going to come in with that edge to push forward, maybe in a way he wouldn't have necessarily pushed forward without that motivation. And David Morrell clearly feeling like he's being underestimated. Looks like he's going to bring his A game as well. So let's see what happens. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think. David Benavidez, David Morrell, melee it up, in a face-off at the media workout. Who does that benefit more? You think it helps David Morrell get that edge a little bit more? Did he throw David Benavidez off his game, or did he dig his own grave even deeper now, getting the monster and David Benavidez really amped up and motivated to put an end to all this conversation on February 1st? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. It's your boy Claymore Rain. Once again, shout out to all my subscribers. Always showing love to you guys, because you guys always showing love to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the support. If it's your first time tapping into the content, I'm gonna invite you to go ahead and hurry up and hit that subscribe button, hit your bell icon so you're all getting alerts when I'm dropping content like this, right? But we good to go. It's Rain. It's the ATP Combat Media Show. Let me know what you think in the comments. Oh yeah, guys, hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Push the like button. Smash the like button. That's how we get the video in the algorithm for everybody else to see it, right? So it's for free. It doesn't cost you anything. Go ahead and do that. It's your boy Rain. It's that ATP Combat Media Show. And at this point, we out.